Hello and welcome to today's Up to Thrive Manage Your Mind Mindful Moment.
Welcome to Up to Thrive, your go-to podcast for women's wellness in midlife, designed to educate, support, and inspire you to live your very best life. And now your host, Dr. Karina Sims.
Recently, my son has taken a trip overseas to see his sister. They met up and then headed off together for a holiday in Europe, just the two of them. This has touched me in a way that I wasn't really expecting. They're both now in their early 20s and have become closer over the years, but as you can imagine, it wasn't always that way. They had their moments growing up, like most siblings, I imagine. I can remember Megan playing, doing something, minding her own business, and Lockie would crawl up behind her and yank on her hair. He was so cute, it was sometimes really hard not to tell him off with a smile on my face. And of course, Megan, who has always, self-admittedly, has always been a little bit dramatic, and she'd scream and carry on, and Lockie would just laugh and laugh. And as they grew older, when they would fight, I would make them hug and tell each other that they love each other. They hated that. So yes, over the years, they've had their moments, their disagreements and blow-ups, and now seeing them come together because they want to has really been so touching. The three of us did a fair amount of traveling when they were growing up. They were born here in Australia, so most years we would take holidays back to the States for them to see family. Along with that, we did lots of road trips here around Australia, most of them just the three of us, even after I married my now husband. In fact, he got banned from road trips because he was so unpleasant to travel with. His idea of a road trip is to get from point A to point B as efficiently as possible and to go for a purpose like fishing or hunting or helping someone on a station or with mustering or something like that. I, on the other hand, like to meander a little, stop in and look at interesting things and places. That's part of the fun of a road trip, right? To see and experience the land and the people between here and there. So the kids and I have taken a lot of trips over the years, and this would be the first trip without me when they weren't going to see their dad. I've been reflecting on how it's so interesting that I haven't really wished that I was there because I appreciate what they are enjoying doing right now is very different than what I would want to be doing, and I am loving watching their adventures from afar. I mentioned last night to one of my Reset members what they were doing during a chat that we were having. She's a little older than I am, and her children have children of their own. In fact, those children are now teenagers. She shared with me her experience of how her relationship with her children has evolved over the years. She talked about how much the Grandies used to love coming from the city for a visit because it was so different with different things to do here, and how much she enjoyed that stage, and then how that changes when they become teenagers and now they have other things to do like sports, etc. So things change yet again. Not only with them, but with their parents as well, because now they are so busy doing all the teenager parent things and the things that come with that stage of life. It was such a beautiful conversation, and it really made me think about what is yet to come. The relationships I'm going to get to have with the children of my own children, and what I hope that will be like, and the life I want to create for when they get here, which I don't think is anytime soon, but I guess you never know. And then today, I was reading a lovely article written by a woman in her mid-30s who's kind of in the thick of that stage when the kids are still quite young and everything can be just so overwhelming. She was starting to realize how much effort she was putting in and always striving and so busy. It made me think about the different stages of life and remembering that stage where she's at now. And then I had this really vivid memory from when I was about the same age that she is, and my children were young, probably 5 and 8 years old. It was this gorgeous spring day when we lived in the beautiful Clare Valley here in South Australia. I was a single mother then, and that day the three of us had gone on this walk. I can remember being on the top of this hill, and there were wildflowers, and everything was so green, and the sun was so bright and warm, and the kids were running around through the wildflowers and laughing and really enjoying the day. And I remember just being so happy in that moment, so full of love and joy. It obviously stuck with me all of these years. But seeing my sons and daughters' little happy, plump, laughing faces in my mind's eye caused something very unexpected. I was overcome with a deep sense of grief that those days are so far gone that I'm never again going to experience my children in that pure innocence and wonder, unaffected by the world around them. A time when I was their world and they were mine. So yeah, I shed a few tears and I just sat in it for a moment. And then I recalled that conversation I had last night and the different stages that we and they will go through and how it's all just a part of this beautiful life we get to live. Life was never meant to stand still. We all know it moves in seasons. And every season asks something different of us. And every season offers something different in return. It made me realize that every stage of life also asks us to let go of something, of being young, of the body we once had, of children needing us in the same way, of careers, expectations, old identities. Just like we eventually let go of those tiny hands so that they could go out and build lives of their own. But in the letting go, we're also making room for all of the beautiful experiences and memories yet to come. But I'm very conscious of also not rushing through this season, wishing for the next one, or spending too much time grieving the last one. There is beauty here too, and one day we'll probably look back and realize that these were the good old days too. Hey, before you go, I just want to share a very exciting announcement. At the end of this month, at the end of July, I am going to be opening the doors again for the Midlife Health and Body Reset program. I already have some people on the priority list to get into the program, so I'll have a few spots left over for anyone else who's interested. I'm also going to do a webinar towards the end of the month before I open the doors, just to let women know what is going on with their bodies in this stage of life and what they can be doing to best optimize their health and their strength and their vitality and their energy and their waistline, if that's something that you're looking at trying to improve. So if you want to register for that webinar, there's going to be a link in the show notes. If you want to check out the Midlife Health and Body Reset program, there's also a link. And if you want to get on that priority list so that you're one of the first in line to join when the doors do finally open, there'll also be a link for that. I look forward to seeing you at the webinar. It's going to be a great session. It's going to be a masterclass in thriving in midlife. So exciting. See you there. I hope you've enjoyed this Manage Your Mind mindful moment. And if you have, and you can think of someone else who might enjoy it, please pass it on. And don't forget to rate and review the podcast to make it more visible to those who might get something out of it too. Have a great week, everyone. And until then, I hope you opt to thrive.
The Opt to Thrive podcast is designed for information purposes only and is not engaged in the giving of medical advice. The information provided on the podcast should not be used for diagnosing or treating a health problem or disease. In no way should the information provided by Opt to Thrive be considered medical advice, and at all times the advice of a medical professional should supersede recommendations from Opt to Thrive. If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, you should consult your healthcare provider. The views expressed in this podcast are purely that of Dr. Sims and do not in any way reflect those of the institutions she contracts her medical services to.
Thank you for listening to Opt to Thrive. If you've enjoyed listening, please rate and share the podcast. You can visit our website at optothrive.com and leave a comment for any subjects you would like to hear more about.